Hey, hello Spurs fans, Paul the Hotspur hippie there. I'll have to fix that intro track. It ends suddenly because I couldn't be asked fading it out. I hope you're all well. I hope I'm not looking too scary for you. Light bulb's still gone in this room, and wouldn't you know it, it's a bloody bayonet fitting, and I bought a screw in, so you know that's life. Eh? I hope you're doing well. I'm just doing a quick stream tonight because I'm getting a bit peckish. I've been out and about in the wild today, out in the Blue Mountains, around Lithgow and I don't know, Portland and all these other wonderful places, sussing out some mountain tracks. So I'm going to do a long old hike tomorrow, which will be a lot of fun. But just a bit of news, you know. I mean, basically, bugger all's happening, isn't it? But you know, you got to pad the off season out. Only 6 days till, is it six? What is it? 26th. So it'll be the 20. Oh, it's the 26th in England now. So, what's that? 5-6 days? I can't add up. 5 or 6 days till Big Ange takes the reins at the Blue and White Army in North London. Can't wait. So here's some crap that I've bookmarked my extensive research, because I know you come here for top quality football info, and you know, what do I know? So here's one I thought was interesting from the last word on Spurs, which has been, I think, retweeted from @sport, whoever that is. Barcelona have outright rejected Tottenham Hotspur's offer of £4.3 million to sign defender Clement Lenglet on a permanent basis. Barca are understood to be holding out for a minimum fee of £8.6 million, with hope Spurs will reach valuation. I don't even want him for 4.3 million. What are we doing? I mean, I know you need backups and squads and bollocks and all that, but I think we're setting the bar a bit low. Look, he didn't do too bad because he did better than Eric Dyer, I guess. But with all the names we're being linked to, I'd rather see Lenglet. You know, thanks for filling in the gap, mate. You know, I don't want to be a twat to him or anything like that. But I'd rather get that Dorrington kid in there. Get Dorrington in as a backup. I think he'll have a lot more fire in his belly, a bit more blue and white flowing through his veins than the tricolor of Lenglet. You know, there's a bit of red in there, isn't there? Arsenal red. But good luck, Barcelona, getting nearly 9 million out of Levy for Lenglet. I mean, I think some of the players we've been linked to, the good ones are less than that. So, you know, I don't know. Now, something I'm looking forward to having a listening to is last word on Spurs. Had Danny Kelly on, and I like old Danny Kelly. He's a bit of an old hippie like myself. Knows a bit about Spurs. Saw a lot more glory than I did, and I've enjoyed listening to Danny Kelly for years on the radio. So I'm going to give that a listen. Last word on Spurs featuring Danny Kelly. Isn't that nice, eh? And it's quite funny because on last word on A View from the Lane, you know, very rarely you can tell he gets a bit frustrated because he does throw the odd fuck in here and there, just once or twice, you know, But he's a lovely guy, is Danny Kelly. Another one from last word on Spurs. Tottenham are close to completing their second signing of the summer with Bayer Leverkusen defender Edmund Tapsoba set for a move to Spurs for a fee in the region of 25 million. That sounds all right, 25 million pounds. That sounds like a pretty good buy to me. And people seem to be happy. I know Sean Butler rates him, and Sean does a lot more research on this sort of shit for me. So it's good enough for Sean Butler. It's good enough for me sometimes. I do disagree with him a lot about things, but I do like him. He's a cool guy. And I've nearly run out of news already. Oh, shit. Could be even a shorter show than I thought it might be. Last word on Spurs. Again, why am I always just bookmarking them? Are they? I suppose it's easy. I'm lazy. Tottenham Hotspur are interested in signing Aymeric Laporte Laporte is expected to leave Man City this summer after making just 12 Premier League appearances in their all right, don't mention the treble winning bit. I mean, you know, I'd be surprised if they didn't win the treble, to be quite honest. Team like that, Man City. Who were Man City? 1981. God. Now, I did put in the description of this hurriedly put together production something I bumped in today, which I think was brilliant, and I'll put the link in so you can all give it a watch. Because now and then I search on YouTube for old players and things like that, and you don't often get much. But today I actually hit a bit of gold dust. There's a 92 interview with Danny Blanchflower. So if I can find the control key and press V, get your laughing gear around that. I mean, geez, we could do with a captain like that nowadays. What a guy this is. Oh, I won't say that all that Danny says, because it's better coming from the man's mouth himself. But he, in a very, I don't know, a very sophisticated way, I think, put the BBC, because I remember back in those days, BBCs were all, you know, bowler hats and bollocks. He did very, very subtly, you know, I wouldn't say quite put the BBC guy in his place, because it wasn't like an aggro interview or anything like that. But he's very matter of fact, and he was very intelligent. And I love the way he talked about other footballers. I'll give you one thing he said, and it sort of, in my mind, fits along with, you know, the Bill Nicholson football brain philosophy. When I think the BBC guy, the Oxbridge, you know, the sort of Daniel Levy likes to chat to in big leather couches. Oh, you're doing a fantastic job, Daniel. He's kind of, I think he was kind of inferring the professional footballers were a bit stupid. And Danny Blanchflower stuck up for him really well. He said, no. They just do what they do. Just because they can't say how they're doing it doesn't make them dumb at all. And he used the example. He said, you know, I'm sure there's some farmers out there that can't tell you exactly how they farm. They just go and do it. So that interview there, Danny Blanchflower, 1962, you know, when he's kind of at his prime as well, just come off winning the double. I don't know if it was before or after we got done by that bloody referee against Benfica when we should have won the European Cup. But a lot of what Danny Blanchflower said back then is as relevant today. It really is. He talks about the standard of journalism. I don't think it quite went the way he anticipated, but you could tell what he was hoping for, and he did become a well-regarded journalist himself. So Danny Blanchflower, an amazing human being. Is that all else I put in the description, was it? I think I just put I'm going to waffle. But thanks for joining me. A few people here. Let's have a look in the peanut gallery here. David Clark's always here. Hello from sunny Leicester. Is it sunny in Leicester? Nice one. Here we go. What else has he got to say? I don't hike far. 26 years playing football has put pay to that. I've one artificial knee and the other's bucketed, so short walks my dog is all I can achieve. Well, at least you're moving, man. There's an old German expression. I think it's something like "Ich rest, ich rost," which the English translation is roughly if you rest, you rust. So even if you're getting a bit buggered, because I'm getting to finding bits of my body's falling off, and I'm groaning every time I stand up and sit down, and I'll take a sip of tea and always go like it's like I'm an old fart. But you got to keep doing what you keep doing. But while I can do it, I will. But I know it's not going to last forever, man. So good on you for keep on going there, David, against all the odds, Citizens Band, good morning all. Good morning, Citizens Band. Nice to see you. There's the convoluted link I put up. I hope that works for you all. If I've buggered it up, just type. All I did was, and I do this regularly, so I was quite surprised. It's only been put up 1 month ago. It's from the BBC archive. If you just search for Danny Blanchflower on YouTube, it was the first one that came up for me. So if you do Danny Blanchflower, BBC 1962, you can't go wrong. And man, we could do with a guy like that now. Really, we really could. I mean, we're lacking in such leadership, aren't we? You know, maybe Angel bring a leader out of someone, but I've got my doubts, man. Got my doubts he can bloody well do it, to be honest. It's a bit of a shit show, our captaincy at the moment. But I mean, I'm generally positive about the next season and everything, but we need someone to step up. And I'm not going to use the Americanism, step up to the plate. Just step up. That's all you got to do, isn't it? Here we go. David Clark. Oh, well, that news happens quick. Laporte has already turned us down. Don't want a Man City reject anyway. Don't want a Man City reject. I got a message from Her Highness Queen Ellie early saying, who would have thought in 1981 when we beat them that they would turn into like the giants of European football and we'd be like a bit buggered. But football's a funny old game, isn't it? Unfortunately, or fortunately, it keeps us interested. Mark Cousins, g'day Sheriff, how you going, man? Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Here we go. Thuran, here we go very soon from Romano the Mystic. Oh, who's this? Is this a player? Is this a player that's on the cards? Is this hot breaking news? Because obviously I'm a bit behind a bit behind the times. Who's this? Let's have a look. Thuran. So look. Thuran. You're expecting a Romano tap in, so I'll have a look. I can't really see. Why is it every time I search for shit on Twitter, I just get naked women popping up? I didn't ask for this, Elon. Can you just stop it? Right? You know, can't Twitter use AI? AI, stop showing me stuff like that and stop gambling adverts. And I don't want to see Bitcoin and bollocks like that. You know, show me hair replacement therapy and things like that, which I'll ignore. But at least it doesn't annoy me, you know. I struggled. Thuran, have you spelled that right, or am I just being a bit slow here? Because I can see there's a that looks like a guy in a football top. Okay, I found a footballer. Arda Turan. Turkish, perhaps? Is that Turkish? No, that's not Turkish, is it? I don't know if that's Turkish or... oh, no, Istanbul. Yeah, okay, yeah, Turkish. Is he a goer, is he? Is he a good player? Good player? Are you excited? Let's have a look here. I'd say Laporte will want his final payday now. Wouldn't surprise me if he headed out to the desert for some Arab money. Well, there seems to be the new America for some people, doesn't it? I'd probably go with, be a bit more messy, go to Miami, see some nice sunsets. Saudi Arabia is trying to buy all sorts of sport at the moment, aren't they? I don't know what all that kerfuffle with golf is because I'm not really interested, but they seem to have bought golf somehow. I don't know. 24Z, yo, yeah. Getting all KRS-One there, mate. KRS-One, Overlord X, Scott LaRock. Forget all these new rappers, that's proper stuff. Citizen fan, I'll tell you who will sign a lower level of players on low wages and expect Daniels to turn them into world stars. I'm going to be a bit more upbeat than that man. I think the players we're being linked with are quite decent, actually. I'm not convinced we're going to go ultra cheap. This year, we've got a lot of messages in here, mate. What's going on here? Let's have a look. The port turned us down. Actually, port was created to extend the shelf life of wine, as it's a mixture of brandy and wine. Didn't it come from Portugal? I think that might be its name. Because there was some bullshit about we couldn't import something into England. This is like back centuries ago. So they did some fudgy thing with Portugal and made it port or something. I don't know. Thuran is playing in Germany. He's a free agent now. No, because I don't, man. That's the bloody thing. Like, if I did, I wouldn't be going on about it. I'll be just thinking, yeah, more porn, guys. I don't. Oh, Thuram plays in Germany. Okay. I mean, if any of you lot want to watch, but it's none of my business. But I just, it's not my thing, David Clark, if Levy does his usual buggering about, with the Maddison transfer, we will lose out on him, pay the price wanted, because we can save money on other players, deals, but don't screw this one up. Well, you know, a lot of people are excited about Maddison. I think it might happen. You know, it doesn't seem to be much happening for him, does it? So I mean, like other clubs sticking their little sticky beaks in there. So I'm still hopeful of that. I'm sensing a bit of a you know, a bit of a down of vibe here, folks. Have I missed some news, or is it just a general, you know, ennui with maybe lack of signings? Are you kind of wanting a few more runs on the board earlier? I'm still kind of a bit chill about it, but you know, that's because, you know, I'm a bit lazy. Maybe in 2 or 3 weeks I'll be all negative, like, you know, a bit pessimistic as well. But at the moment, I'm not. I'm unconcerned at the moment. Maybe my unconcernment is misplaced. I'm not usually unconcerned in transfer windows. Actually, like last January, far out, man. Last January's transfer window was absolutely doing my head in, man. Doing my head in. You know, all that Porro business right at the end. Marcus Thuram, Mönchengladbach. Oh, well, let's have a squiz on old Sofa Score to see if he's got a higher statistical rating than Eric Dyer. Marcus Thuram, and see if he's taller than me. That's my other benchmarks. Okay, here we go. So look here. So I'll get rid of this now that someone's clued me in on how to change it. DFB Pockle, 8.35. How many games has he played? Have I got the right thing there? Matches total played 2. Come on, Beatty. Here we go. League One. He's not as statistically good as Eric Dyer. Where's he playing? Oh, he's playing a bit up the pitch, isn't he? Okay, so who have we got at the moment going up that side? Perisic is probably on his way out, isn't he? Udogie might be doing similar stuff like that. So he likes staying around the penalty spot a bit as well. He's taller than me, so that's a thumbs up. 25, don't mind. Oh, that's the position. F. Are you telling me he's a forward and he's like farting around on the wing? Is that what it means? Forward. He's a forward. Oh, Sofa Score. It doesn't fill me with anything. So his attacking is 83. How many goals has he got then? 9 goals in 32. Nah, not impressed with that, man. Goals per game, 0.3. Nah. I'm not being thrilled here, man. Not being thrilled. 33 million euros. Nah, into the bin with that one, I reckon. Into the bin. Unless Ange wants him, of course, because, you know, what do I know about football? If Ange wants him, then I'm all for it. So, but I'll keep my eye on it. Oh, here we go. I've buggered up my cursor here. Oh, there's loads of comments coming in now. Thanks very much, folks. Keeps giving something to talk about. Mönchengladbach sounds like the perfect place for Frankenstein and Dracula to have a good old street fight here. Up a windmills on fire, it's all burning torches and shit. I used to love those old Universal horror films. Well, and I watched a few of them recently. I watched Frankenstein and Dracula and Bride of Frankenstein and Son of Frankenstein, and, you know, I don't know, Frankenstein's cock. I don't know. That was a comic strip in Viz years ago. But they were. I was really surprised, you know, that how well they stood up, considering they were, like, you know, pioneers in what they were doing. Watch The Wolf Man with Lon Chaney Jr. It was a little bit of a. I found him a little bit creepy in that one. He was a little bit of a stalker pervert. I was quite surprised. if memory serves me, he's like looking at binoculars at this chick in a dress shop all the time. I was like, all right, Lon Chaney. You know, this is before he'd even been scratched or bitten by the gypsy with the pentagram on them. But Frankenstein, bloody good movie. What was his name? James Whale. You know, a lot better than the shit they've tried to reboot anyway. Turam is signed for Inter Milan. Well, we don't have to worry about him anymore. That's good. Good. They can have him. I didn't grab me. Citizen ban, Levy's tactic, give a shit offer to the selling club for the player and wait for another club to come in with a better offer. So Levy can have an excuse not to buy an elite star player. Well, you know, we'll see how we go. I know he's got form on doing that sort of shit. But, you know, I'm glad we got a goalkeeper. I want a centre-back or two, and maybe a left-back, and then we can start faffing around with people like Maddison, you know. Catch-22 Gaming. Hi, Paul. Do we need to Makaleli type player to help transition, to help drive the midfield and keep possession? Oh man, I have no idea. Maybe. But I'm not sure of the Makaleli type player you're referring to. I only know an older player called Makaleli. Maybe that's who you're referring to, but I can't remember how much he played too much, what he was like as a player. But we do need someone. Look, I reckon a Bentancur is pretty good at getting the ball back, very comfortable on the ball and driving it forward. I think him and a bit of Basuma bossing it around, and a bit of Pape Matasar, special sauce, bit of sizzle in there as well. See, this is why I'm not overly, hyped up about a Maddison. If we get him, great, but I kind of think we do have a few options in midfield already. I just want to get the back line sorted out once and for all. It's been 4 or 5 years, and if they're star players or not, to be honest, I'm not really fussed. I just want decent defenders in, and if they're, players that are coming in under the radar, if they're players that, Ange's spotted and he likes, then I'm good with that, man. I'm good with that. He's a striker, winger, Paul. Okay, we're just having a little discussion. Dave Clark, no, it's having lived in Leicester for decades and now I know a couple of youth coaches at Leicester. Leicester owners won't be screwed by Levy. They know his worth even they're in the Championship. Oh, okay, man. All right, so a bit of inside knowledge, eh? But who else is up for him? That's the thing. I'm not seeing, unless there's someone keeping very quiet. That's the thing, man. Would Leicester even consider keeping him as well? I suppose. Maybe if that's what you're saying. Okay, even if we're in the Championship. Okay, I see where you're coming from now. Is it really worth it to Leicester to let him go for a few quid less when he's probably one of their best chances than bouncing straight back up? I see what you're saying, man. I see what you're saying. Turam got 13 goals and 6 assists. Don't give me this assists rubbish. He crossed the ball in. That's his bloody job. 19 goal contribution. He faded out midway through the season. Mönchengladbach, not great. Well, he's gone. Bugger him. 24Z, morning, man. And you think we could do better, to be fair? Oh, hang on. They're chatting to each other. Citizens Band, yes, of course, the old English Hammer House films from the 60s or 70s era were brilliant. Yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. The Christopher Lee Dracula films are fantastic, and even though I'm not into porn and I get a bit surprised by my phone sometimes, it was good as a little as a young sort of teenager, sort of mid-teenager. You could always rely on a Hammer film for a little bit of boob, if you know what I mean. They were they knew their market, Hammer, and Who used to do? Was it Jimmy Sangster? Used to do a lot of the writing and directing. Jimmy Fisher, was that the other one? But the music in those was absolutely brilliant as well. Music was fantastic. Citizens Band. My dad used to scare the shit out of me as a kid. Then Frankenstein came along and made my dad look like Britney Spears. Oh dear. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm just getting off the track, but you've got me digressing here, which is always a bit of fun. I don't really get much of a buzz out of horror films. I don't like psycho what do people call it, like torture porn stuff, like Hostel and things like that. I don't like things to be ultra realistic in horror films, and I usually like a bit of a supernatural element to make it even a bit less realistic. So I probably faded out with horror films after the 80s. I mean, there's films like Reanimator, From Beyond. I forgot the director who did Stuart Gordon. He did a couple of good old films, but when they were a little bit schlocky, whereas now they're a bit too disturbing. Everyone want to watch a bloody film like The Human Centipede. It just doesn't sound entertaining me. It ain't entertaining at all to me in the slightest. Well, I don't get it, but each to their own. Each to their own. David Lever. Hi, David. Nice to see you. Morning, Paul. Whatever time it is, it's 6:37. I just thought I'd come in and do a quick stream before dinner because old Planet Stupid's on at the moment. I mean that the news. I'll steer clear of that. I watched the headlines and I thought, oh fuck this. I'll do a quick stream. All that depressing stuff. If United don't get Mount, do you think they could snipe us for Maddison? I suppose anything's possible, isn't it? The Mount thing seems to be dragging on a little bit, doesn't it? I think Chelsea are in a bit of shit, though. I think Todd Bowley came in and didn't really understand what he was getting into. I think he could really end up damaging them quite a lot, which I'm all for. Can't wait to see them plummet back down. I mean, they were lucky they didn't have more games last year. They would have been right in a relegation battle. I just don't think Chelsea are a decent football club. I really don't, and that's what I grew up with. Chelsea were just, there wasn't this huge. Well, I didn't feel that there was this huge rivalry between Tottenham and Chelsea. I know they played the first Cockney All London Cup final, was that the one in '67? But I never really felt the rivalry with Chelsea because I've always had the opinion that they're just bit bloody dog average, nothing team, and really a lot of it, not all their fans, but many of their fans, how should I put it? Grave philosophical differences with. I put it that way, which I don't have with Tottenham fans because it's one of the things I like about Tottenham. It's a big old church full of nut jobs, and I like it that way. We're not all homogenous, just come out of the same jelly mold, That's a good thing about Tottenham. Mark Satoshi, g'day Paul, just finished dinner. All right, you're ahead of me, man. It's getting excited. Okay, bit positive. That's what I like to see. And don't get me wrong, I like to be positive, but if the season starts turning to shit, I won't be. And if you saw me on other channels last year, you see the less positive side of me. I did a couple of videos for Irish Hotspur. I think it was like back in January when Aston Villa beat us, and it was the end of the world for me, man. And I was slamming the owners and everything. So, I want to be happy, a happy clapper about Tottenham, and I don't need much of an excuse to do it. But sometimes, it just breaks through. But looking forward to Angie's first media conference. Oh, it's going to be great because I've seen people. I wouldn't say they're jumping the gun, but I can see people are getting excited because I've seen a few photoshops of Angie in almost Spurs gear. Like they've obviously changed this Celtic green and white tie to blue and white. And I appreciate what they're doing, but I want the real thing. I want the real thing. I want Ange Postecoglou sitting there telling all the journalists to go and do one, and then just talking to us, the fans, because he will speak our language. He's absolutely brilliant at it. Citizen ban. Madison, I take it as Madison is brilliant at keeping the ball and getting into those little pockets of space. Yeah, everyone's saying this, so I just haven't seen it with my own eyes. That's the only thing. And it's purely my lack of experience with the guy. I'm sure everyone that loves Madison is right, but I've got to see it with the old Peters, haven't I? All right, now we're getting up there. Ange will improve, so Citizens ban, improve the players and bring out parts of their game that they never knew they had. I think you're dead right there, man, because they're going to have a lot more responsibility on the pitch. I think I got the feeling a lot of the time last season, especially when things weren't going too well, the players, because they got no leader on the pitch, but the players be looking over at Conte. Now, well, what do we do? I can't remember how to play a football, Antonio. What do I do? And he's just going, Ange is going to put the responsibility on the players. And I think the players, some of them, it's going to be interesting to see who, because David from the Irish Hotspur was in the chat when I did a stream this morning, and he asked a very interesting question, which was, what player do you think are the players that you think will not make it and make it? And it might not be who we expect, it might be, we might have one of our good players just not quite get it, not fit in. It's possible. Or we might have a crap player that, I can't imagine this, but we might have a crap player that gets better. Who would that be? I can't think of one. All right, when I'll rule out the defence because they're all on a one-way trip to Butlins at Canberra Sands to watch some cabaret at half time, maybe do a bit of youth coaching, for 10 quid an hour. But I think Pierre, I can't see Pierre and Skip getting through it. But they might be the sorts of players that Ange, like you're saying, will improve. To me, they're very one-dimensional players. But it's also possible the system they were playing last year, they weren't given us enough freedom, to flourish and express their art. So I'm pessimistic about the prospects of Skip and Højbjerg, but you never know. They might be the players you're on about, Citizens ban. Could happen. Chris Meta Football TV, g'day. Oh, you're having a chat with someone else. Here we go. Moondog. Okay, Moondog saying, morning, Paul. I'm not that stoked on Madison. Can you, because I haven't seen him, can you tell me more, Moondog? Like, have you seen him play? So, because I'm just being completely ignorant. I know really not a lot about him. Have you watched him play a bit and you're not sold? But the only other sort of slight question mark over Madison, and it could all be bollocks as well, are those there's a few stories about maybe his social life or his attitude. It kind of came and went though, so who knows? Who hasn't had a night out? I feel sorry for players these days, really, that they can't go out and let their hair down without some idiot with one of these either setting them up or just waiting for them to have an off moment, really, which if you get to my age, if you have more than one off moment, and I'm just thankful there weren't bloody mobile phones when I was young. Jesus Christ. But tell me more, Moondog. I'm curious. Citizens ban. Newcastle can only spend 80 million this transfer window unless they get sponsors who can double their revenue. Yeah, I heard something about the FFP a few days ago as well, man. So they're going to have to get some, sponsorship, if you know what I mean. Bit of Man City style sponsorship in there. Man City sitting there with over 100 charges of fucking around and the Premier League doesn't do anything about it. I don't understand that. I don't understand if the Premier League are laying charges. They're the governors, aren't they? It used to be the Premier League or the Football League or the FA. You know, they'd have a sniff of something and come down like a ton of bricks. The Football League, they're not shying going forwards when they're penalising teams in, you know, divisions 2, 3, and 4, whatever the fuck they're called these days. Was it Championship, League 1, League 2? It's all confusing. When it was Division 1, 2, 3, and 4, it was very easy. But now it's all branding, isn't it? But they'll dock points quick sharp if there's financial irregularities. I don't get why Premier League don't put some sort of punishment on Man City, and I don't know what that would be. You know, 12 points or whatever. I don't know what it would be, and then it's up to Man City to appeal it. It seems to be that these days, you know, somehow a team. I did a video about this a while ago, but somehow a team can wrap the Premier League up in red tape and lawyers, and I don't get it. It's like, well, it's the Premier League's competition, isn't it? They just make the rules. That's the end of story, isn't it? So, you know, what you're saying about Newcastle, they're being limited, you know, I'm sure they'll find a way around it. I mean, Todd Bowley had a great idea, signing players on eight-year contracts. Brilliant idea, you utter knob. Shows how little you know about football. I think that's fantastic that he did things like that at Chelsea, because, you know, they're going to be stuck with shit players for 8 years that they can't sell. Oh, dear me. David Clark. Oh, I think Aston Villa will come in late for Maddison. That's not a bad shout, is it? I bet. Because, I mean, Aston Villa's a big bloody club. You know, and Villa Park's not, you know, I think it's one of the few remaining Archibald Leach designed football stands in the country. Like when I was growing up, it's like every stand was Archibald Leach. I think one of our stands at White Hart Lane was an Archibald Leach, you know, cantilever stand, and it's one of the few left. But yeah, maybe an Aston Villa coming in, you know, because if they get a player like that, I mean, shit, they were on fire towards the end of last season, weren't they? They were, you know, they might surprise a few people this year, and they'll have a bit of money coming in from the Europa League they got into, isn't it? They'll have a bit of money coming in from that as well, so could be a good shout, David. We'll skip that one. David, Madison's girlfriend is expecting twins, and she doesn't want to live in southern Scotland, Newcastle. So what's more exciting, Birmingham or London? I mean, it has been a long time since I've been to Birmingham, I admit, but you know, it was a bit concretey when I was there, like the bull ring and all that. It wasn't like tripping the light fantastic. I mean, it wasn't near Birmingham. Was there any nice countryside? Like I say, I lived in Sheffield for a couple of years, so you're near the Peak Districts and all sorts of wonderful goodness. I don't know if there's much around Birmingham, but you know, I haven't been there for a while. If you're from Birmingham, you know, more power to you. Citizen Band, if Aston Villa get Torres and Maddison, they'll have an amazing team. Yeah, and they could. Yeah, a cup could drop, man. Cup could drop. I mean, that you know, it wasn't something I picked last year. I totally missed that one. It was obvious that you know, Steven Gerrard didn't have the chops to manage them, but just the improvement Emery got out of them was just something else, wasn't it? I mean, if they continue the form they finished on, they could be pretty dangerous indeed. Aha, compañero, buenos dias, morning, matey. What time is it there? It is 10 to 6 p.m. You're on when I went to bed, and you're on as I begin my working day. Good on you. Yeah, I just sit here all day. For all you flat earthers out there, there's concrete proof that the earth is round. There you go. Dispelled. It used to be that every village had an idiot or a nutter, and they talked bollocks, but they were all isolated. And now, because of the wonderful World Wide Web and cyberspace, they can all communicate with other and make websites on absolute twattery, and people start thinking, that 10,000 people that, Stanley Kubrick landed us on the moon in Pinewood Studios, and well, with that many people saying it must be true. Not that all conspiracies are false, but some of them just barking mad, aren't they? I mean, here's a true conspiracy. That bloody referee who dudded us out was getting to the European Cup final in 1962. That was no conspiracy. He was on the take. He was bent. I think he was actually done for being bent, but we'll never know, because as Jimmy Greaves said, he said, because he started slagging him off, and he said, well, aren't you worried about him suing you? And Jimmy Greaves said, well, someone would have to find a shovel first. So I'm assuming he's passed on. But you can't libel the dead. Shouldn't really talk ill out of them. I can't see you, can they? So, swings and roundabouts. David Clark, last 3 seasons, total goal contributions, only Kane beats Maddison, so he is a true class player. Okay. I don't know what goal contribution means, though. I assume it's assists. If you're taking it one step back with what's that term I heard? Goal creating action. Piss off! I'm not interested in all that. Chris Meta Football TV. Vicario, the feeling among those who know him very well, say he's going to be an absolute superstar in the game. I heard old bloody Buffon. Buffon's giving him a bit of a G up. So that's quite a bit of kudos. Spurs also think they bagged an absolute gem. We might have. And one rumour I saw was that was Ange's pick, whereas Raya was Levy's pick. So, 1-0 to Ange Postecoglou. Dave Weller. If Ange has had a yarn to Maddison and he wants him, then Maddison will be playing at Tottenham. Yeah, I mean, you can't refuse Ange. But, it's not all going to be Ange persuading the player. The player has to come to the table. It takes 2 hands to shake, you know what I mean? Kim62, morning, Paul. Morning, man. I'm looking forward to hearing Ange talk everything Tottenham Hotspur. It's going to be, I love it. Every time I get a comment with this, can you see how I start beaming? I start beaming because it is going to be, we're going to get to see because the press conferences with Conte, I stopped watching them. I'd only kind of tune in when he's just thrown, blown a gasket and steam was coming out. But apart from that, there was nothing really, inspiring about that. Same with Jose. So I'm looking forward to getting a guy in that will be talking to the fans more than the journalists, put it that way. And if he starts calling the journalists mate, they're in trouble, because mate in Australia, it can be, a lot of people use the word mate as like dickhead. Mate, come on. I'll just check if my dinner's ready. Hello. Is there a dinner update yet? Have you started it or not? Oh, you've eaten it? Oh, right. Is this stuff left? Oh, okay, cool. Thanks. Oh, cheers, man. Okay, apparently dinner's come and gone. I'll give you another few minutes. Okay. Colin Richards, do you think Calvin Phillips can improve our team? He's become a forgotten man at City, and with Rice possibly going to City, he could be released at a good price that would appeal to Levy. Nah, not fussed on him. I don't know why, and I've got no basis in fact of saying that. I mean, I like that you're being a bit creative with where we could get players that maybe are looking for sort of a second chance in football. Ange is not opposed to giving players another throw of the dice if he thinks they're up to it. So you might be right. There might be something in there, but me personally, not fast. Straight away, Chris Meta Football TV jumps in and says he's staying in the City. Not even Dave Clark, not even Ange can turn Sanchez into Bobby Moore. No, no. I mean, he's not an alchemist. He might be a chemist. He might be a football chemist. You know, he can take a bit of sodium and chloride and bang, got salt and everything's nice and tasty. But Sanchez, nah, Bobby Moore. You know, the closest player I'd say we've had to a Bobby Moore in recent years would be like Ledley King. Ledley King was so bloody good. He really was. Spurs between the lines. Sorry, didn't realise you were live. Don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about it. Oh, I'd have said the moment of my life. Nah, it all washes out, man. It all washes out. Like, I don't even know he's live when I go. I just do it when I feel like it. But it's good to see your channels going from strength to strength, Mia. Mia's on most days around about this time. I don't know. I don't schedule it, but always with interesting news. Actually, Mia, I'm really enjoying your those little intros that you're using. I quite like. I don't know. It's got like one of those old BBC micro feels to it, like the music you're using. I think it's pretty cool, man. Citizens Band, Madison is the perfect player for us. He's matured nicely. He scores free kicks, takes good corners, and delivers the ball into the box nicely and play. All right, well, let's get him in. All right. I concede. Oh, Madison. Phillips given time, says Colin Richards. Finest form in the attacking system as his best displays were with Leeds playing out right attack and conceding defence with reliability also as he showed for England. I didn't think he really shone for England. That's probably where I remember seeing him from there, you know. The box of ducks. Look, I'm an unreliable witness. So, you know, I might be wrong, but he's not Spursy enough for me, you know. He's not Spursy enough. Remember, when I say Spursy, I'm talking about someone who had the balls the size of Danny Blanchflower, who before the 60-61 season said, we've got a good team here, we're going to win the double. That's Spursy, man. That's Spursy, not what Simon Jordan says. Spursy is a bit of razzle dazzle. It's a bit of top shelf entertainment, black label, champagne, football. That's what I want to see. And for me, Phillips doesn't do that. He might be a good enough player, but he hasn't got a bit of the, you know, I'd say like Bentancur. Bentancur's a good Spursy player. I like him. You know, we have got some Spursy players in. We need a few more just to top them up, and yeah, get the back line off the Butlins doing football juggling clinics with you know, 6-year-old kids that 11-year-old, 12-year-old kids that really don't want to be at Canvas Hands, Pontins or Butlins because they'd rather be at home with their mates, and they're just going to give him loads of shit, boot the ball at his head and stuff like that. Some fans say Madison is arrogant, says Dave Clark, but for me, watching him here in Leicester, he's just total confidence in his own ability and nothing facing. Hey, look, like I say, I don't know Madison, but I get what you're saying here about, you know, about arrogance. I use the example of Paul McCartney. Paul McCartney, you know, part of the Beatles, biggest band ever in the world, and he will say things like, "Well, we were the biggest band in the world." Me and John wrote the first #1 for the Rolling Stones, and he's not being arrogant about it. He's just, well, that's the way it happens, you know. If someone is a really good footballer, I don't think they necessarily have to be a shrinking violet about it. You know, you can be confident about it, and you can, you know, I think that's a good thing as well. Arrogance is where your ability. There's a mismatch between your ability and your attitude, I think. But if Madison is great, as you say, and he's confident, I don't see that as arrogance at all. Don't see it as arrogance. God, we're all selling Madison here. Yes, I mean, if we don't get him, you're like going to be right pissed off, aren't you? You know what? Well, we signed someone from, I don't know, Rushton and Diamonds. Bloody hell, we're all on the Madison wagon here. I mean, I hope for you lot we sign him, kind of, because it seems to be that I'm getting the feeling for a lot of people, it's kind of how I put this. It's not a making do purchase. It's like, no, for the player that we want that does that sort of thing, he's the best in England, if you know what I mean. And it has been a while since Spurs have made a signing like that. So if this is the guy that you feel that way about, I'm all for it. Why not? I mean, I don't have a veto power. Jose's just uploaded another short vid and plugged the community. I did make a couple of people mods just to help me out with this sort of shit. But I'll flipping Nora. I'll see if I can find it, man, and put it in. Tell Cockerell. There he is. 13 minutes ago. Okie dokie. Good backdrop there. White Hart Lane in 17. Good man. Copy link address. Okie dokie. So we'll go over to Jose's channel, Tell Cockerell. Fantastic name. Show him a little bit of love. Sitting in front of a White Hart Lane, proper White Hart Lane sign. What was Strasbourg Steve saying here? He's just Strasbourg Steve. When people are talking to each other, I can't glance over it, you know. Don't want to intrude, you know. I like to give people a little bit of privacy. I know privacy is a thing of an outdated concept that we used to have back in the bloody 80s. But you know, here we go. Derek Smith, Chelsea will sell to the Saudi clubs who will then feed those players back into the system at their leisure. It's going to be massive circumvention of the rules. It's an interesting theory. I mean, I know like Saudi Arabia likes to, you know, throw a bit of cash around, but I mean, are they going to buy like shit from Chelsea? They can do better than that, you know. I don't know. Okay. All right. And Dave Clark says Chelsea won't be stuck with these players on 8-year contracts because they have a loophole. They sell them to the 4 clubs in their Middle East owners own, and then they sell them out on loan to Europe. Oh, we're talking about like multi-owning football clubs. I hate that, man. I hate that. It just is so anti-football, this shit, when organisations do it, because you know, you just end up with clubs being feeder clubs for other clubs. And I get that kind of happens sort of organically anyway. But when it's like you're actually owned by the same buggers, you know, like Citigroup or whoever the hell, you know, then you know that if you support the feeder club, you have got no dream of glory. Because if you ever get a bit out your pram or you get players that are good, in comes Man City and snaps them up at a bargain. So I'm all absolutely against anyone owning more than one football club at all. I can't stand it. Strasbourg Steve, I'd rather get Dominic Zabozlai than James Madison. Okie dokie, there's another hat in a ring there. Liam saying hello, folks. I'm trying to bang through some of these before I get to an hour because I'm getting hungry. I've worked up a right sweat today, a right hunger. And the longer it stays out there, the more chance my mate is of pinching it all. So I've got to be. It's the quick and the dead at this place, you know. Liam, in Eric Dyer's case, goal contribution means how many goals you let in from the opposition. He's got a fair few anti-assists, hasn't he? Because this is how he turns. Remember? Whoa, the speed, and he turns around faster than that. He gets a bit of vertigo and falls over. Strasbourg Steve, the football brain on the internet. Watch a lot of Serie A. You watch a lot of everything, man. and I'll have to start watching a bit of the French league after you recommended it as well. Vicario really impressed me with his time at Empoli. Okay, yeah, okay. Well, he's getting good raps, isn't he? Press conferences with Conte, says Liam, were like a chalkboard. Yeah, they were bloody horrible, man. Let's have a look here. I'm just going to skip down here because I'm hungry. You're all talking with each other. Strasbourg, thanks for correcting me. It's early in the morning here. What was I correcting you about? Did I correct? Oh, I don't know. What time is it? 6:50. Oh, I'm about 10 minutes behind. Oh, I've got too many people in here now. It's like easy to keep hold on when I had 2 viewers, and now I've got like 33. I'm struggling. I like this one though. Ball bean counter. Let Michelangelo paint. Yes, man. Yes. Go and get your dinner, says Moondog. Yeah, I'm fading. Here we go. Racing. Oh, Jimmy Nipples. You're trying to poke the bear here, aren't you? Hi, Paul. Who do you expect to meet their expectations regarding XG? I know you're a big stats guy secretly. Spin on it, man. Very good. Hey, Hotspur Heavy, Sydney Spurs fan here. Nice, man. Are you connected with any Sydney supporters groups? This is the season to get all together and watch live matches. No, I'm not. I've looked at it a couple of times. You know, I'm not really I don't know. You know, sometimes going out and doing that sort of thing is not my thing sometimes. I know there is one, and I think they're called Oz Spurs, and I think they meet for live games in the Strawberry Hills Hotel in Surrey Hills. I was out one night and there was a game on, and I did drive past the pub, but it's in a really shit place to park, and it didn't look like there was much happening there. So, but I might keep an eye out this year if we go on, because I do like a bit of crowd atmosphere sometimes, but just not all the time. Dave Clark says they don't break the rules because they make sure that their secondary clubs are only minority owners. It's a load of old arse, isn't it, David? It really is. It's a real load of old arse, and I can't wait in some ways for the football bubble to burst and all this money, or a lot of it just buggers off into something else like origami, or I don't know, arm wrestling. And I think that will do me. Thanks for watching out, and do check out that Danny Blanchflower video. For those who came in late, I'll just put the link in again because I found it to be really interesting. It's about 20 minutes, and this tells you what a real captain's about. Where are we? There it is. I keep back too many times. I'm so shit this. Here we go. Copy link address. Let's just do that. Don't play it. Shush. BBC will put me in prison. There we go. So I'll leave you with this. This is Spursy, man. This guy is Spursy. Danny Blanchflower. So on that note, I'll bid you all farewell, and I'll probably be up in the morning early. Going to get out and do some walking, long walks ahead of me tomorrow to see some beautiful sights. If any Tottenham sort of stuff pops into my head, if I'm inspired by nature, I'll do a little video. But thanks for popping around, and thanks to loads of all those people who've done the subscribe and like. It's really great. It makes me want to keep doing it. Well, you know what I mean. I'm having fun. All I'll say is I'm having fun. I really like responding to your comments. No one's being a twat, which is really nice. And, may the long good vibes continue as I head towards the end broadcast button. And I'll just leave you with, come on, you Spurs!